It's another big loser Monday. How about 6 out of the last 7 Mondays? 6 out of the last 8 for you guys that are just going to, check my stats on that, nerds. How about the Arizona Cardinals not making any moves after the most lopsided loss of the season? And we definitively, Johnny, declare a winner between the debate about Kyler Murray or Jacoby Brissett. Are we going to do that?
Wow, we're going to do that. We're also going to break down potential new offensive coordinators because, well, I feel like at worst, that's what's coming come January. What's coming now? PHNX Cardinals on a Monday starts now. Hey, welcome in. Up Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier other F1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Brack. Noah man behind the mic. We are fresh off about 6 hours of live content yesterday. Big thanks to everybody who made our watch-along, pre-halftime, and post a banner day for this little fanboy pod. The Cardinals continue to stink, to suck it up, but we are number one because of all of you, so we appreciate that. Bo, how we living?
Living well. Watch your profanities. How about the PHNX Cardinals podcast brought to you by your friends over at Bet365? Download the Bet365 app today. You'll realize quickly it's never ordinary. Deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and get $200 in bonus bets with our friends over at Bet365. Get in on that Monday night action. Why not? I teased, as I always am, about a definitive answer about Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett. We're not going to do that. That's stupid.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even know that that was a plan.
I threw you a curveball. We're not going to do that because I don't think it is a debate at this point. Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback. For those coming out and saying, slinging arrows on the social media streets about it yesterday. I mean, what's the point? What's the point as far as where this organization has gone over the last couple of weeks? And as it stands, following on the heels of an Adam Schefter report that, separation is imminent. Like, what are we doing here in trying to make up stories that, that the outcome of yesterday's game would have been any different?
It was a bloodbath yesterday, friends. It would have been that way with or without Kyler Murray. I want to just highlight this comment here. Thank God for PHNX. Well, we appreciate that. These are we thrive on days like today. Like we don't typically get a lot of positives to talk about with this team. So who better than Bo and myself, shameless plug, to be able to dissect the 44-22 ass kicking at the hands of the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have any appetite. I will talk Kyler Murray in the offseason by hook or by crook. We'll reserve that for now. This is the team because, and maybe this is part of a larger conversation, this was a decision made, whether it was their hand forced by Kyler, vice versa. Jonathan Gannon, Monty Ossenford, it's this is our Colts. This is our Cards, baby. We bleed red, and this is the team that they have chosen. Ain't no excuses. You're not going to find Bo and I making any excuses. Let me rip off some stats for you. Cardinals have tried and failed to beat a winning team their last 9 outings. They are 0-9 since they won a game at State Farm Stadium last year against the Chargers on Monday Night Football. Plus, wasn't a real primetime game. Of those 9 losses, 4 of them have come at the hands of the Seattle Seahawks. The 2 others, on top of losses to the Vikings, the Colts, the Packers, came within the division. Rams, 49ers. So of the Cardinals, 9 losses in their last 9 games against teams with winning record, 7 of them have come in the NFC West. If you ain't beating your teams in your division, you ain't going anywhere. And listen, we defend Jonathan Gannon, defend Monty Ossenford. It's hard to defend anybody today. So I will hear all the criticism, all the pushback, all the arrows that you want to sling at this franchise right now. It's open season. And I'm going to start off with this to my co-host. I am disappointed in Jonathan Gannon's messaging at his last two press conferences following whatever that was yesterday. At the very least, following that performance, I think a little bit of humility is deserved, and I think an apology to the fan base is warranted. We're not getting any of that right now.
Right. And, even the conversation we had about Kyler and potentially moving on and getting the benefit of being able to select the next quarterback.
Right.
And going through all of this, it's like, what earns you the right to do so? There has been some positive things as far as behind the scenes, things that transcend the playing field. You can talk about the culture. You can talk about, movement as far as getting upgraded facilities. Things have changed as far as just, how the organization is perceived in the inner workings. But as far as the wins and the losses, they remain the same. They remain status quo. They remain too few and far between. When you talk about, like Gannon's ability and his path forward, it's tough to have that conversation because you don't have a whole lot to stand on as far as stats, wins and losses, success within the division, players taking off as far as like really kind of outside of Trey McBride, kind of putting themselves in the conversation as like a top 5 player at their position. Like all of it is just kind of like mediocre. The wins are even like tough to swallow most of the time. At least they have been this season. So it really has just been a sludge for Cardinals fans as far as trying to see a future that's going to be, bright and successful. Even though that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to say, we're going to be draft and develop, and that's going to be our path to consistent success. And right now, through 3 seasons, we haven't seen a whole lot of success outside of one little Linsanity run of 4 magical weeks where the Cardinals were able to walk off in 3 of them and have 4 come from behind wins. Were they able to, put themselves at 6-4 and atop the division? But like everything before that and after that has been a nightmare.
Yeah. I feel like the collateral piece is the number one piece where Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenford had success at their prior locations, right? Ossenford tied himself to New England. Tennessee wasn't great, but again, the Cardinals were in a position where they were looking for just capable professional people. That was the bar. Mm-hmm. They interviewed, a couple people from Chicago, San Francisco declined. Dan Quinn declined. I mean, so I think it's important for Bo and I to contextualize, like, there are things that we would do differently, and then there are things that we believe this is how Michael Bidwell is going to operate.
Right. And I apologize. I kind of went off on a tangent there where you're talking about the press conferences and how you present yourself and how you show accountability. And it's one thing to say and take the arrow in the forehead and say, that's on me. Mm-hmm. But it's gone beyond that to where I feel like the fan base deserves more answers and maybe more movement. When you say the name Dan Quinn, I read on Twitter today that Dan Quinn is taking over defensive play calling duties. He's removed them from a bad DC in DC because their defense has been awful all season long. When I look at and Dan Quinn was first season in Washington, he went to the playoffs. He went to the NFC Championship game.
With Washington.
He's been the head coach of a team that went to the Super Bowl. We know what happened in that one. I understand. You don't have to throw that at me.
He's got all the collateral.
Right. He has a little bit. He's got a resume. Dan Campbell. Noah looks up at his computer. What's he going to say about Man Campbell? Man Campbell is making moves for the Detroit Lions, who over the last 2 years have done so many positive things. But he understands that there is a perception and an optics and things that play into that. Yes, Brian, Dan Campbell took play calling too. We'll see how that works out. But I think people will be receptive to, hey, they're trying here. And instead of, well, we know what went wrong, and that's what we heard today. We know what went wrong, and we know that we have trust and confidence in the guys. coaches wise, player wise, that we're going to be able to fix it?
I believe that I firmly believe this. You can take this to the bank. The lack of moves from Jonathan Gannon, because Bo and I are not suggesting that Gannon be fired today. I think we're on the record like they're not going to do that. They wouldn't do that. Frankly, I don't think that's the right move on November 10th in the middle of a season. But to not fire Drew Petzing or Justin Frye after what we have seen, the erosion of this offense and the offensive line, that screams to me Gannon has 100% ownership of his staff. There is no external pressure. Maybe that's a good thing because you don't want Michael Bidwell meddling and you don't want Austin Ford having to force his hand. And there's a lot of respect for Jonathan Gannon. We know that. Jonathan Gannon is firmly in control, right? For better or worse. Some people may love that. Some people may firmly hate that. But this is his decision. And, we've heard the term. People have used it, loyal to a fault. I think that that's what's happening right now. To not watch this team give up 15 sacks in 5 games and for the offensive line to look thoroughly unprepared, the erosion of talent. Isaiah Adams, blossoming prospect, can't play suddenly. Jonah Williams, bust. You don't take him out of the lineup until you're forced to because of injury. What's happened to Yelda Froldhold? What's happened to Evan Brown? Will Hernandez looked bad yesterday. It's like that was your best unit on the team. What unit was better than that the last 2 years for this franchise? We talk about you got to have an identity. They have zero. That was their one identity, you could argue, the last 2 years. It's eroded. What are you going to do about it? You've done, Jack, you know what about it. You haven't made any changes outside of Will Hernandez for Isaiah Adams. You didn't bench Jonah Williams. You haven't fired anybody. Listen, we've had Justin Frye on the show. It's a great guy. Former Ohio State offensive line coach. If it was me, I would have made a change at OC. I think that now is the appropriate time to do so. I posted this on Twitter. I think it gives you 2 months to assess either Israel Wolford or Drew Terrell, right? And then also be proactive to go get a couple coordinator candidates around the team, interviews, whatever's appropriate, whatever you're allowed to do, start that now. Because here's what I think is going to happen. I think Drew will be out at the end of the year. But I think that Gannon will do it in a way to allow Drew to save face, and that's going to piss everybody off. That we're going to wait. It's going to be one of these things that drags on. You watch those 4th down play calls yesterday, boom, you should be fired. Those are fireable play calls, and the erosion of the offensive line and the fact that Marvin Harrison Jr., the up and down, semantics that's gone on with him, and you don't have a 100-yard wide receiver this year. It's like you should be done. But they'll play this out. This will go past Black Monday, and we'll get a press release or offhand comment from JG, and it'll just say, we're not going to renew Drew's contract. And it'll be too late. It'll be too late to go out and get the best candidate, in my opinion.
Yeah. You'll get a hiring. You're like, I didn't even know that Drew was gone. I mean, that's at the very least what you would want as far as the transparency, as far as what's going to go through the transaction wire. Right. Or somebody's going to go on an injured list. And it's like, you're going to find out anyway. It's like, just let's all give us the
we're all adults here.
Yeah, we're all adults. Some of us don't act like it, and I'll take that as far as my immaturity. But look,
we're big boys.
Things are trending very horribly, awful, just terrible. I mean, coming off of a game like that, a performance like that, for the most part, we get poor Zay Jones tore his Achilles on that play, and in the back of the end zone, his season is done. Potentially, I mean, it's going to be tough for a guy like Zay Jones at his age to come back and then also get an
NFL snap.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happens with Semi Fioco. He's got an arm injury. They're down to 4 wide receivers in that room, including Xavier Weaver. Probably going to need to add a guy or a couple guys. And then Walter Nolen. We got a little bit of an update on Walter Nolen. We want to save that, go to break, and give an update on the rookie and continue this conversation.
Yeah, I'm not ready to get off of this OC disaster class, or the fact that they didn't fire anybody today is not unexpected. It's very disappointing. Real quick before we go to break, I got a text message yesterday saying I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was let go, and then the day progressed, and you see other Daboll's getting fired. Like we're in November now. The holiday season's here. Like you have lost the benefit of the doubt, and your fan base is furious. And here's another thing. Oh, by the way, you got to win some of these games to stick around. We think. So I am befuddled by the complacency. It's really disappointing from him.
Yeah, and how many of those games can they win? We'll take a look and trip down the rest of the schedule here. All coming up here, PHNX Cardinals.
Befuddled, disappointed. I'll tell you what fuels it, though, is Circle K is like my offsetter. Like I went to Circle K last night, and I was really disappointed. And then I was like, well, I'm a member of the Inner Circle. Mm-hmm. That at least will take care of me here in the interim. They've got the drink deals, $1.50 large coffee, and how about this maple pumpkin coffee? How about it? Hot damn! Limited time offer right now. Plus, they've got Monster buy two get one free. Same thing with Red Bull. And then I mentioned, yesterday's broadcast, people were blowing me up about it. The 3 for $20 12 packs of Cokes, 36 Cokes for $20 in this economy. Hello, only at the Inner Circle. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for more details.
Vibes were definitely down yesterday, but still had an unbelievable experience at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wildhorse Pass. Of course, one of 4 casinos here in the Valley of the Sun that you are going to go achieve legendary status. What's that mean? You're going to go find, of course, tons of slots, 4,500 of them, live table games, and catch all the action of any of the sporting events like Monday Night Football tonight. Go check them out. Wildhorse Pass, Vequeva, Lone Butte, Santan Mountain, wherever it is. Experience the best that the Valley has to offer. Restaurants, they got them. All sorts of food options, plus, of course, the gaming, the entertainment, shows, great comedians. I saw them. People lined up to go to a show as we were leaving last night. Vibes, they look like they're a little bit higher than those who just had to endure one of the worst ass kickings in a long time for the Arizona Cardinals. You do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. Join us for our next watch party as well at Wildhorse Pass. Playatgila.com.
All right, let's quickly hit on this, Bo. You've got an update from JG on Walter Nolen, the 16th overall pick that left yesterday's game with a knee injury.
We do. No, would you play it?
We'll see how it goes this week.
Assuming he's done for the year.
Yeah.
So as we try to put this together, this puzzle, and that's often the case with like injuries, like we'll see how this week goes is encouraging to me. Obviously I wasn't really going to put too much stock into what Theo Mackey was tweeting out yesterday, where he saw Walter Nolen walking around in the locker room. But it all, like, as you put the pieces of the puzzles together, is like, it doesn't sound like it's a season-ending knee injury. I think we can safely say that, as we'll see how the week goes. I can't, like, I'm not going to say like he's going to play this week, but it's encouraging that
please no off-season knee surgery is what we want.
Right.
Hey, one of our few good players, can you please be okay to, get better in the offseason? No update on Darius either. I mean, I think it kind of encapsulates the disappointment with this team, where like Darius is hurt, not playing great. Walter finally playing great, hurt again. This team can't stop the run. They really disappointing. All right, let's get back, because I think Walter's going to be okay. I'm with you. I think he could have a sprain. They could hold him out for a week. I think we'll see him again before the end of the year. I could be wrong, but he needs to keep playing, because like I saw him do some good things yesterday, but they were bludgeoned yesterday. They were thoroughly whipped. That's the best way to put it.
I mean, as far as the people who were generating pressure, getting themselves in the general vicinity on the 13 drop backs that they made, because they had 13 passes, Walter Nolen's was the closest to the quarterback. One of the closest.
He and Josh.
They got one quarterback pressure all yesterday. One effing pressure on 13. They threw 13. It was like Michigan 2 years ago in college football. Like, they didn't have to throw to win yesterday.
Think about the Seahawks are who the Cardinals want to be. That's what the Cardinals want to do. They want to run the ball like that, and they want to play defense like that. They are so far ass backwards from operating that way. And it's just like, today should be a look in the mirror day.
Yeah.
Because we have the receipts now. We have 3 years. You are awful in the division. The Seahawks own you. They have not beaten the Seahawks, and now each game is getting progressively worse.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
this was like Cliff with the Rams.
yes, yeah. Although Cliff beat the Rams.
He did.
He went to LA and beat the Rams.
Yeah. But
I mean, like, we are trending toward. Yeah. You texted this to me today. What'd you text me about Cliff? This Cliff could be more well thought of than JG, like historic perspective, if this continues to go like this.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great to be in that conversation, but I mean, just where like the approval rating, if there was one for head coaches, I think you would see Gannon unfortunately checking in there with Kingsbury in his final season in 2022 when things were spiraling out of control.
Can I do, so you let me do Drew Petzing 2 weeks ago, like a presser, like a mock presser of what he should be saying.
Oh no!
Can I do JG real quick?
You're gonna take on Gannon's role? Okay.
Because if I'm gonna, like, we're all upset about how the game went.
Yeah.
And like clearly they were not in control.
You've got a perfect quarterback rating here. You're 158.3. You want to mess with this? You had such a great performance.
Keep it short and sweet.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's what Gannon does. So what's going to be this?
Yeah, right. All right. So I'm going to go. We're going to pretend like this is how it should go. We all know what it is. Actually, here, play the Gannon clip.
You want me to do like I do in the regular press conference?
Yeah. Here, let's do Gannon's clip about getting their butts kicked, and then I'll tell you what he should have said. Let's hear it.
No one in that team meeting today, I told them, nobody's looking around like, how did that happen? We collectively allowed that to happen, all of us in there. So you take that on the chin and you move on. Frustration, just a waste of time.
Okay. And there was a lot at the beginning of, I'm going to couple it with yesterday's, which he was very clear, and it's gotten run on social media.
Yeah.
Scoffs at the notion of making changes. Okay. Right. We've broken that down.
Okay. I'm gonna just like JG, I'm gonna settle in.
Okay.
I'm gonna get this for I'm gonna put it up PHNX Cardinals on the Twitter account.
Obviously very disappointing. That's not our style of play. First, I want to apologize to the fan base. You deserve a better product than that. We promised a better product. That's the opposite. And we sold you a false bill of goods, and we will make every effort, conservative effort or extreme, to get this corrected, because we have a significant sense of urgency. And I know you guys aren't with us here every day at the facility, but I promise you we're doing everything we can to get this corrected. Oh, are you going to consider making changes to the staff? We're considering everything right now. I think to be in a position right now to be 3-6 in our third year, everything should be on the table. I know how fortunate I am to be able to be in this position, one of 32 head coaches in the National Football League. I don't take that for granted. And I want everybody to understand that at the end of the day, these kind of opportunities aren't promised. They're not grandfathered in. So, yeah, right now we're evaluating everything from every player to every coach on the staff, as it should be. Nobody should feel comfortable with what's going on.
I know you said you're evaluating everything, but can you get more specific as far as which coaches might
Well, Bo, when you give up 44 and you have two offensive series that go the opposite way, I would think both sides of the ball need to be evaluated. Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, no problem.
How do you feel about that?
It's done.
Yeah.
And literally, did I single anybody out? Did I say Drew Petzing stinks or Justin Frye stinks? No. You can be critical and give the fans what they need to get off your ass in the short term without calling people out. Like, I didn't single anybody out. I took ownership of it. I apologize. You have to apologize. I think an apology to the fans needed to happen yesterday or today. And that the fact that has not happened, that's a tough look right now. Would you agree with that? I think not acknowledging to your fans, third year of a rebuild, you're getting beat 35-0 at Seattle. Like, you need to apologize for that.
Right.
That was embarrassing.
There needs to be a message to the fan base conveying why they should have confidence in you and your 100%. Staff and team moving forward. And like, if you think that if anybody thinks that they're above that, like that's the entertainment part of this business. Like there's the production side, there's the football side, but then there's the entertainment and the fans and, season tickets and jersey sales and just supporting this team. You have to give them reasons to buy in to what you're selling. You can't just say, well, I can do it without you, because you can't. You can't, because
doesn't it kind of feel like they don't. I know he doesn't believe this, so I don't want to put words in his mouth. But the presser demeanors feel like it's like we're good either way. Like,
right.
That you can't do that. And here's what I'll say.
I get that. Yeah.
I'll say about Cliff. Cliff may have spoken in like generalities, but there was like you felt bad for him. Like there was a sincerity. I was before Bo was here, I was at every Cliff Kingsbury presser during the 2021 season. When that season collapsed, and then Bo, you were with him that last year, and it's just like, I don't think Cliff's as good as coach as Jonathan Gannon, but maybe it's crazy. He handled himself better in the media toward the end of that run. But again, I come back to the fact that like maybe he feels like no one deserves like an explanation or an apology or otherwise, because he feels very secure in his role. Part of this is the optics with this fan base, and guess what? Talking about yesterday, people are on social media, some prominent people on Twitter saying, I'm going to sell my season tickets. I'm done with this. That's the quickest way. And with all due respect to our guy, Benjamin Albright, who is correct mostly, to go from, well, JG is secured to that. Yeah, we can't have this in January.
It was so much season left to play and so much potential, disastrous moments that could be in store. Like that shouldn't have. It shouldn't be just a concrete, lock to happen. Noah, can you bring up Big Bird 92's comment here about Bruce Arians, BA? Because like BA was the best. Like Bruce Arians was no doubt about it, the GOAT. I mean, he's the GOAT Cardinals coach, most successful coach since they moved to the desert, no doubt about it. But BA would always say specifics, which plays, quarters went wrong, what play calls were bad, but was never an a-hole about it. Like what was BA's mantra? Like coach him hard, hug him harder. He also came to the organization after just being an offensive coordinator his entire career and never getting a real shake at being a head coach. He was 60 years old. He was 60,
going to do it his way.
60 and sexy. There was like he had already, it was like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. He was going to the ward and everybody, and he was trying to plead his case for why he should be released. And no matter what he'd say, it wasn't going to get him, that freedom. That was Bruce Arians as far as becoming a head coach.
Right.
So like when he got into the interview with the Bears, it rubbed the Bears the wrong way. But when he got in with the Cardinals, it finally unlocked that door for him. Like I think that Jonathan Gannon at 42, 43. He's got a long, NFL career ahead of him in the coaching ranks in whatever capacity. I think that he can't play. He doesn't have the luxury like of BA to be that transparent. Like Bruce Arians, like is one of one as far as that goes. And I know you're seeing it differently, like with Dan Quinn and Campbell, as we mentioned. But like Gannon, just the part of what he deems or views as successful is being, there for his guys. And if he's in front of a microphone and talking like BA, I think he would lose a little bit of that. Even though Bruce Arians was able to utilize that to really kind of motivate players. Justin Bethel, failure in progress at the cornerback position. Like he said a lot of things and made a lot of headlines and had a bunch of huge quotes. But I don't think like if Gannon went out there tomorrow and was talking like BA, especially at this point where you've lost 6 or 7, I think it would it would turn off some people.
Yeah, and I'm not asking for that. I think I'm asking for an acknowledgement to the people that like this fan base, what they've had to endure. We went on this show for over 1,000 days during this tenure, dating back to the offseason in 2023. And it's like, we all understood the assignment. Everybody knew what we were signing up for. The roster was terrible. The division was loaded. You get a couple hires that, frankly, like you talk to people around the NFL, they're lucky to get these guys. Okay, do it the right way. Don't cut corners. Awesome. We're here and we're ready to stick this out. And they showed moxie at the end of the first year, winning games with Kyler. Second year, they had a tough schedule, but they overcame it. And they went 6-4, and then they fell on their face down the stretch. And we came on, and we were critical at the time. We reevaluated in January and said, okay, give them another offseason. There's more talent here. We had local people in the media saying they need another offseason. All right, go load up. And they had a great offseason by all accounts. And now when it's time to do the one thing you're hired to do, win games, you cannot do it. There's no excuses left anymore.
Right.
Go ahead.
Let me play a little devil's advocate on that. Just trying to get into the psyche of the decision makers. That first year was such a teardown, like to the studs, weeding people out of the roster, finding guys in Isaiah Simmons and saying, "Get out of here. You don't love ball. You're not gonna help us now. You're not gonna help us in the future."
Right.
And it wasn't just Simmons. It was more than that. Is Jonathan Gannon is he like a redshirt sophomore head coach? Like,
no.
Do they even count year one as a part of it? Like, do they look at the record? Like, you didn't have your quarterback for 10 games. Like,
I think Michael Bidwell does.
Let me double down there because people are probably enraged by this. But is that the line of thinking? Was year one just a teardown and not part of the equation as far as how the Monty Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon, and his staff are going to be evaluated?
100%. I think that's how Michael Bidwell feels. Sure. But here, let me push back on that. If you're having that kind of, if that's your thought process and you go 8-9 last year, the baseline this year is 8-9 again, 500 again, not sucking to the point where top draft pick over in the division, blown out Ken Wisenhunt style. I don't give two you-know-whats about 2023 in redshirt years. If year 3, you're getting blown out, and come on, Jacoby Brissett or not, that game was a disaster. It was a laughingstock.
Yeah.
If that game is competitive and Jacoby Brissett's throwing pick sixes and that's the difference in the game, and then your defense just quits in the fourth quarter, I've seen that before. That's not what that was. The game started. They got their ass kicked on both lines of scrimmage. It was done with players that they picked. They signed these players. They drafted them. They traded for them. That's why it was a line of scrimmage game yesterday. They got smoked. They got out-coached. Every time, it felt like Mike McDonald was 2 steps ahead of Drew Petzing the entire game. I'm going to blitz this guy here. You're not going to do anything about it. I know your 4th down calls. I'm going to out-physical your targets and your receivers, not named Trey McBride. And then on the opposite side, listen, I love Nick Rollis. That was embarrassing yesterday. It's okay, you have to play Cody Simon. You're not comfortable with that? Well, Kazir White was available all offseason. You told us you didn't need Kazir White. You're okay, we're going to go with Cody Simon and journeyman Akeem Davis-Gaither, who couldn't effing play in Cincinnati. It's these are your people. You don't get excuses. You pick these guys. So when you're giving up this 200 yards rushing to Seattle, who doesn't run the ball particularly well, it's it's not a quarterback thing. That's why we're not talking about quarterback.
That was the point I wanted to make there. Is just when they had a chance to cut this thing incredibly to a 2-score game, right? After when Sam Darnold throws the tip pass that gets intercepted by Denzel Burke,
right?
And then the Cardinals can't capitalize in the red zone. The most damning part of the game happened. What happened, Johnny?
They ran the ball 12 straight plays.
12.
The Seahawks are you can't stop us. They just ran it right at the Cardinals.
And they couldn't stop it.
I put something on Twitter last night, and I'm going to ask you this, and then we're going to go to break. But I want your opinion on this. How on earth do you go into an offseason if you're Monty Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon and convince your fan base of the following? We can win without quarterback clarity. We can win in the NFC West when we have not shown the ability to. And we can beat good teams when they have not shown the ability to. How are they going to convince people of that in 2 months and then in the entire offseason? That is, to me, that's like a Herculean task where that's the kiss of death. You check every box. You don't have a quarterback. You stink in your own division. When you play good teams that aren't Brian Schottenheimer's Cowboys, you get boat raced. How are they going to do that?
It would have to. I don't think at any point can they get everybody back. I think with a changing of offensive play callers with somebody that not Joe Blow, up and coming, was an offensive assistant, quarterbacks coach, like a proven commodity that can inspire some confidence as far as that side of the football. That might be a step in the right direction. But as I said, like, there's no cure-all move for this organization with how things have gone down this season.
Can I just pull up a comment here? Soul Pancakes, did you not see the team give up 200-plus rushing yards yesterday? They were egregiously bad on the ground. They got pushed around. They couldn't fill in the open field. They've given up 400 rushing yards to the Seattle Seahawks in 2 games this year. Awful. They couldn't stop Christian McCaffrey earlier this year. The division smokes them up front. Sure, they were great on Monday Night Football against Dallas, but your barometer is playing teams in your division and then the best teams in the league. They can't stop anybody. I mean, their defensive secondary up until yesterday was the only unit you could argue playing well on the team, and they had a couple built-in excuses. They were down a couple starters. So what do you need to have happen as a result? Hey, the secondary that we're paying a bunch of money to, that we've invested all these resources, has to step up. Walter, Darius, Calais, Sweat, Baron Browning, who looked borderline unplayable yesterday, was awful.
I mean, up front was the biggest issue on both sides of the football. Like, the trenches, it wasn't even close as far as
they ran the ball 12 straight plays. They couldn't stop them. That's a DB's fault.
In the rebuilt defensive line, your top asset from the offseason as far as Walter Nolen going in there, you thought it was going to be different. Like, what you, me, Britton were talking about on the pregame show. Like, how do you elevate, these relative unknowns in the secondary without Will Johnson, without Max Melton? Is like, you're going to have to be stout up front, and you were anything but that. Seattle imposed its will. It took your soul.
It did.
On both sides of the football.
Oh, man. We're going to get into some offensive coordinator candidates for this team, because at the very least, Drew Petzing's gone. Feel very confident about that. Borrowed time right now. And I think, Bo, with Monty Ossenfort at the helm, like, the Cardinals are going to have to force Gannon's hand to go big, to save everybody's job. It's PHNX. Speaking of going big, did you go big with our friends at Bet365? Yesterday was probably the worst parlay I have ever done for this fine program. I will revisit it. Cards +7. Marv anytime tutty did hit, but Marv not over 60 yards. And then Bam Knight, which has been the kiss of death, anytime touchdown, was not a winner as well. But you can be a winner with our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. College football is in full effect. Obviously, ASU back in action this weekend. Congratulations to our friends U of A. Bowl eligible. Can't wait to sprinkle some shekels on U of A football bowl season. New customers right now with Bet365 can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Use the bonus code PHNX365. When you deposit $10, place a $5 bet to get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary with Bet365. You got to be 21 years and older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you need some help, if you have a gambling problem, or you think you might have one, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
A great bet is the husband and wife law team. There's no better duo out there. If you're facing a serious injury or wrongful death case, give them a call right now, 602-783-8841. And also, great follow on social media. Cracking me up, Mark and Alexis, what they're doing over there. It's a great follow. Trust me. So follow them on social. And then, of course, if you're dealing with a serious injury or a wrongful death case, give them a call, 602-783-8841. Visit their website, husbandandwifelawteam.com. They actually go to trial. They're not just going to try to like, oh, we've got a deal, we're going to strike it, it's what's best for our company. No, they're doing what's best for you and your family. Certified specialists by the State Bar of Arizona, over hundreds of years of trial experience. Don't ditch out on the best option for you and your family if you're facing serious injury, wrongful death. Do your homework, and you're going to come to the conclusion. It's the husband and wife law team, 602-783-8841. And as I said, follow them at husband and wife law team on Instagram.
Yeah. Fantastic. We love our sponsors. We love our Cardinals too, despite this horror show in the making of the 2025 season. Okay, so the Cardinals didn't fire anybody. Jonathan Gannon continues to have press conferences that are, I don't think you could argue this, pissing off the fan base. Okay. Mm-hmm. Bo and I are going to begin a series here over the next several months of potential candidates. And so we're going to soft launch this today. New offensive court, because I think we both agree. If Gannon is back, Nick Rallis is back. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
I don't think Nick Rallis is going anywhere. But Drew Petzing is I think, in danger of being dismissed. And doesn't look like that's happening during the season. We expect it in January. Let's take a look at
creating off seasons. It's just like, hey, one off season we focus on the offense, and then the one offense we're going to focus on the defense, and then we're back to the offense. It's like, find a good mix. What do we got?
Here's a good mix of potential OCs here, and then I want to get your opinion. So we're going to run through this group, okay? Connecting the dots. Brian Daboll was with Monty Ossenford in New England, I believe from 2013 to 2016. He was fired by the Giants today. I feel comfortable saying, this would be my first choice. If I'm Monty Ossenford, I would make an incentive right now for JG to pivot off of Drew, so you could go full court press off of Daboll, allow Daboll to help pick the next quarterback of this team, reset everything. But again, Daboll's going to have options. Does he want to, we're going to start asking these questions, Bo. Do you want to sink yourself with this regime, knowing it could be a one and done? And then we've talked about it before. Kevin Stefanski is Drew Petzing's mentor. I know people are anti-Kevin Stefanski. You've got every right to be. He's a much better coach than Drew Petzing, in my opinion. He's been to the playoffs. Won a playoff game with Baker Mayfield. Been to the playoffs multiple times. Zach Robinson is poised to get fired as a part of the blowout going on with the Falcons. He led a top 10 offense last year. Clayton Adams, could you convince him to come back for more money and more power? Dave Ragone is the Rams QB coach. So if you're looking at in division, Ashton Grant, Patriots QB coach, crushing it with Vrabel right now. And then a little bit of a curveball. Friend of this program, Brian Hartline, the wide receiver coach at Ohio State, that is looking to make the jump to a bigger role, and of course played in the NFL, University of Miami. So this is the start. Did I miss anybody? Chat, Bo, your thoughts on this?
Ashton Grant. It sounds like some name you would see on a Little League baseball team. Ashton Grant. I don't know if that inspires a whole lot of hope.
He's green.
Yeah, you have to respect what he's done with Drake May alongside with Mike Vrabel there and their turnaround with the Patriots. Hartline, the two coaches that were the big hires this offseason and their groups are struggling, at least yesterday struggled the most, were from the college levels, and Justin Frye and Coach Debo on the defensive line. I don't know if you can turn there and if this is the conversation of inspiring hope and finding, the right offensive play caller. I don't know if you can go with these bottom two, probably not these bottom three. I think the experienced group is probably the best way to go. Clayton Adams feels like it's that wound, him coming back in, is that going to help you? I know it will as far as getting the run game going, but now we're going to be dealing with incorporating a new quarterback into this mix. Is that going to be what's best for the development of a young quarterback? When I think of it under that guise, Brian Daboll is no doubt about it, best option there. Because what has Brian Daboll made a name for himself in this league by being the man who was able to help mold and take the raw skill set from Josh Allen and turn him into the player that he is today. Daboll, if he was hired as the OC, he's going to probably be teamed up with a young signal caller. And then you can move that way. And if things go south in year 4, Brian Daboll can be your interim head coach and have some experience as far as that goes. Stefanski concerns me, Johnny, because when you look at his offensive play calling resume,
yeah,
got one top 10 as far as yards go in his entire resume. He's got one top 10 as far as points scored. That was an OC with the Minnesota Vikings back in 2019. And that's what got him hired. And I'm looking at that offense. It was Kirk Cousins and, Stephon Diggs, Dalvin Cook when he was really humming, Adam Thielen. I don't know. I just think it would be too much of the same. I know Dable there. Robinson's intriguing to me, but there's also a lot of struggles with he's got a young quarterback that's not exactly lighting the world on fire. Michael Penix is quickly falling out of favor in Atlanta.
Good point made. Aiden, maybe. Yeah, thank you, Noah. Hartline wouldn't take this job. We fire Frye after year one. You probably have to keep Justin Frye as a result. And again, I don't know who would be if Drew Petzing is not renewed, the new offensive coordinator would have an opportunity to come in here and pick his staff. He could keep people. My biggest concern is the offensive line, but also who can develop a quarterback, as Bo mentioned, and then who's calling the plays, right? They would probably want their own people, but I mean, there's been carryover from prior regimes. The special teams coach has been here for how many years? So that, I think if Drew, when Drew is gone, I don't want to just gloss over hey, everybody's fired, right? Right. I think they have some good coaches on that staff, but I think they need a fresh outlook on what they do. The Stefanski inclusion has to be there just because how many times has Gannon said this is the offense I want, this is my offense, I want to run this kind of style. Well, that's what he does. Then you would have to then just make the argument, well, he can do it more effectively. I do think Stefanski, without the burden of being the head coach, could be fine, could be solid. My expectations right now, Bo, are low for who they can get.
Well, yeah,
I to be able to convince people to come here with a coaching staff that hasn't won and a GM that hasn't won and a quarterback situation in flux in the NFC West and be hey, come here and join the good vibes. So wait, what?
Yeah, as much as you're oh no, they got a lot of things in place. You peel that onion back, you're not so much. There's a lot of unknown. Sure, you've got, you got the left tackle thing figured out. You got the playmakers figured out.
Right.
You need a couple offensive linemen to come in.
You need a right tackle. You need a guard. You need a running back.
I don't know about so much about the running back. And the running back is something you could find.
Sure, free agency or whatever.
Right, or later in the draft. Quarterback. Quarterback is a big question mark.
Can I just say this too? I think Monty Ossenford is going to have a sense of urgency with this. I said that before the break. I wouldn't be surprised if that recruitment of a future OC has already started. If Gannon and Ossenford remain, Monty Ossenford's number one job right now is to figure out who his next offensive coordinator is for Jonathan Gannon. And then you bring the names to JG and you talk about it. I don't think there's any downside to firing Drew and saying, Drew Terrell, you're going to call plays for 2 months. Or, the quarterback coach, name escapes me, you're going to call plays for 2 months. It's okay, let's evaluate the guys on staff. Let's see if these guys are going to stick around. Letting Drew didn't lose you the game Monday or yesterday, but his play calls were a direct result of your inability to stay in that game.
Yeah, it just becomes when you are starting to see and feel the heat on your seat, getting rid of players when you're already down. You had to turn to your backup quarterback. You had to change what you're doing offensively. You're on RB3 or 4. The offensive line is not even close to what it once was. It's just another, issue you can't, it's going to be tough to overcome. And it's if you're safe now and things can change with non-competitive games, you could just put yourself in a position where you're non-competitive. I know what yesterday was. You look at the entire season, at least it's been tight. If it's not tight, they don't have that to hang their hat on any longer. And Gannon's saying that, in his press conference today, it doesn't matter if you lose by 40, if you lose by 1, they're all the same to me. But yeah, at this stage, as far as you're trying to vie for, survive in advance here, I think cutting from a coordinator that's been there and the continuity's been there. And it is what it is. It's not great. Turning to somebody who's completely unproven is a very risky proposition.
I just feel like it'd be advantageous to get a head start on this whole thing while also seeing who went out. Like I think Jonathan Gannon thinks that he's got a pretty long leash here. Like,
yeah,
why are you guys above making in-season changes, but every other franchise is feeling the heat? It's probably because Michael Bidwell is telling them, you take your time. You do what you think you need to do to correct this. We're going to come back around the break, and Bo and I are going to go through the remaining games on the schedule, and he and I are going to give our opinion. We haven't shared it with each other of how many games Jonathan Gannon needs to win to remain the head coach of this team. That's coming up. Cardinals may be letting you down, but I'm going to tell you who never lets you down. It's Desert Financial Credit Union. If you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with the exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams, including ASU, Northern Arizona University, of course, the Arizona Cardinals, because that's for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicating and creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. Join a credit union that is committed to their members, and it's going to hook you up. If you're a new customer right now, open up a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200,
Love that.
Driving in Phoenix can be unpredictable. From dust storms to bumper-to-bumper traffic, the last thing you want to worry about is your auto insurance. That's why so many Arizona drivers trust Axis Insurance Agency of Arizona. For more than 15 years, Axis Insurance Agency of Arizona has been proud to provide affordable auto insurance for drivers throughout the Phoenix metro area. Trusted part of the local community, Axis Auto helps Arizona drivers get covered with flexible policy options and commitment to working with all types of IDs, driving histories, and license types. With bilingual Spanish-speaking agents at 9 convenient Valley locations, Axis is ready to help customers find the right protection and uncover valuable discounts. Axis Auto, trusted by the community, rooted in Phoenix, and ready to help. All statements are subject to terms, exclusions, and conditions are applicable policy. In all insurance, the current policy contract language prevails. Coverage is subject to individual policyholders meeting in the underwriting qualifications and state availability. Other terms, conditions, and exclusions may apply.
Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. We got your super chats coming up. But this is the JG show, the JG hour for better or worse. You and I are both of the opinion that Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenford are safe. There was even an article by Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport basically talking about the imminent divorce of the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. And, you know, everybody is saying that they're going to get another year to have a chance to fix this. That was until yesterday. And games continue to have crooked numbers associated with them, Bo. How many more games does Jonathan Gannon need to win to be safe as the head coach of this team?
15-28 on his career with the Arizona Cardinals. 8 games left. Let's take a look at this schedule. Let's bring it up here, and we'll play some forecasts. They got the San Francisco 49ers, Jacksonville Jaguars on deck. So I think these are 2 winnable games here. And then you play some big boy teams, Tampa, LA, and then you play 2 more winnable games before going up against a tough end of the season with Joe Burrow returning for the Bengals, even though that defense, like, that can be very Cowboys-rific as far as how they play on that side of the football. Could be a shootout. But with the 8 games, and you got the Niners, Jags, who I think you could flip a coin, and probably the Falcons. Like, you need to win those games. You probably need to win 2 of the 3 of those games.
I was of the mindset before the Cowboys game. I said they needed to go 5-5 for people to feel good about, not feel good, but for people to be able to kind of have any kind of semblance of hope. So they've gone 500 through 2 games. I think he's got to win 4 of the next 8. And that would lead you to 7-10, which is still bad, which is still disappointing. But big difference between, like, I think 7 wins and like 5 wins. I don't think he can afford to win less than 7 games. Maybe I'm wrong. I had somebody text me today that like 6 would probably get it done. We'll see. The optics are important. I also think it's important, like, this is the last winnable division game. If you assume the Cardinals are going to play like ass against the Rams, which I'm contended to think so, assuming the Rams aren't sitting players in week 18, you need to win this game. I would say, like, we always looked at yesterday as like probably the hardest game on the schedule left, but I thought the team would be competitive, and I've got egg on my face. Like, I think Jags is a must win. Sunday against the Niners is a must win, because not only, like, you start losing these games to, like, before the end of the year. Let's see that schedule one more time, Noah. Let's say you lose these next 2 games. Hey, Britton said it yesterday. Do you start to lose the locker room at that point?
Right.
At that point, like, you got to go 4-4, but it's like, when are you winning these games? Right. Like, because then that would put you at what, 3-8? I think you're in danger of losing the locker room. And then you played 3 really competent defensive teams and 3 well-coached teams. It's a long time before you get to play the Falcons and the Bengals after you play the Niners and the Jags. So I think these next 2 games are the 2 most important on the season for him. If he wins these next 2 games, I think it quiets a lot of noise.
It does. It does. And like, you can go up against a Niners team that, it continues to take advantage of a bad schedule, but they're 6-4, but they've got a negative point differential. They were non-competitive in their performance against the Rams yesterday. Like, this is a chance at home, a team that, started this bad trend for you this season, that you can get some retribution for, some revenge. And if you can't do that, you move to 3-7 and then potentially 3-8. That's when things start to spiral and things, I think, change, and tough conversations start to begin to be had. But if you can, not only if you can find a way to win one or both of these games, it starts, you start to go 4-6, and you could get potentially to 5-6, and the optics of that are way better. Yeah. Instead of the you being so far away from even being 500, it just looks really bad.
We're going to jump into your super chats here after we go into a little bit of overtime here. Overtime! That subscribe to PHNX Sports. We got 400 watching live. Let's get to 500 likes here on a Football Big Loser Monday. And we're talking Cardinals, and we're talking JG. How many more wins does he need? Let's jump into your super chats. Stefan, 199. Tragic. Appreciate you. Super sick. Followed up by
any relation to the former Suns guard, Dragic?
Maybe. Libertarian Sasquatch.
You remember?
I do. $4.99. JP always says I need to be a better coach, so why not just hire a better coach? Bozo is 3-12 in the NFC West. I don't want him to coach a young quarterback, Bo.
That's where, like, if you do get a Dable in here, like, at the very least, you've seen what Dable's been able to do, and it's a one-off. Like, Dable also had a young Daniel Jones, wasn't able to kind of unlock DJ, and we're seeing him go crazy in Indy. And then, Jackson Dart, you had the good with the bad. He certainly didn't set Dart up to be protected. Poor guy's been hit 77 times, been in the blue tent concussion protocol, it feels like, ever since he took over the starting reins. So, it's a risky play. It's an absolute risky play, and there's going to be factions of the fan base that are just not going to support it, no matter what happens between now and the offseason.
Alphonse, 1999.
Wow,
Thank you so much for the support on that level. Unpopular opinion, but the correct path for the 26th season is to keep both quarterbacks. Free agency is trash. Complete overhaul with the coaching staff and investing in O-line and a running back. They have the talent everywhere else. Coaching is the problem. I'm going to tell you, Alphonse, the ship has sailed with Kyler Murray. I don't expect him to be back.
Yeah.
Period. Regardless of, I think if Jonathan Gannon is fired, this is something we haven't touched on. You and I have kind of done a 180 on this. I don't think Monty Ossenfort is going anywhere. I think Monty Ossenfort is here. JG is the I think JG isn't going anywhere, but I mean, that could change. Michael Bidwell likes the stability that Osford has given him. Remember, Steve Keim got 10 years as general manager. So they've shown much more patience with GMs.
Yeah.
So Kyler Murray is gone.
Yeah. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion so much as it's an unrealistic reality as far as them keeping both quarterbacks moving forward with that. I agree with my co-host. I think, and it didn't take the Schefter report to change any of this. It did. It has continued to trend towards this ending and resulting in Kyler Murray and the Cardinals parting ways this offseason.
I think that they just let me just be careful what I can say here. Like at the end of last year and the struggles of K1, there were people in the front office that were disappointed by Kyler Murray's play, and Gannon was a big advocate for Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year was always kind of make or break. And I think the people in the personnel side of things are ready to pivot. And I think Kyler Murray's people are ready to have a fresh start too. So I think
that's a big part of this. Like, people aren't talking about enough. It's just like the silence is pretty loud in my opinion, as far as Kyler Murray's camp on this. It seems like they're just taking this and moving forward. And as we mentioned, like ending this thing amicably is the best path for all parties involved.
Right.
But like, I'm sure Kyler's probably thinking his lucky stars he didn't have to be out there and face that coming off of an injury.
No, he wanted to be out there and just get sacked 5 times and smoked. People on Twitter are like, it would have been closer. I firmly disagree.
Somebody was saying, he evades the pressure. He doesn't turn he just takes those sacks instead. It's like Jacoby Brissett was literally throwing the football as as that ball was knocked out of his hand. Like, what do you think Kyler Murray just pulls that? He pulls that down and then evades the pressure right in his face?
I think the score would have been very similar.
Yeah.
I think Kyler would have ran more. It's a trade-off. You're trading sacks with Jacoby for a passing game downfield. And with Kyler Murray, you're trading, I think, a downfield passing game for the evasion and the special plays.
Yeah.
And the evasion of pressure. And they have made their choice. Alphonse, once again, 199, both QBs under contract. Nothing better in the 2026 season. I mean, like the Niners are going to win 9-10 games with Mac Jones this year. Figure it out. I don't want to. We can't enable them to say like, well, there aren't any quarterbacks available. Make it work. Daniel Jones is the number 1 seed in the AFC. If you're any good, you can win with defense, running the football. Jacoby Brissett's got 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. Like, I don't think he's the future, but like whether it's him or a free agent quarterback or a draft pick, go figure it out. I'm not an excuse making business. And guess what? They'll understand. They'll know when we see Monty Osford at the combine this year, it's going to be like, we know we have to win this year. So they get that.
Right. Yeah. It's not a question of Kyler Murray being on a contract or, what you think he can do under different coaching now. Like it's the organization seems like, given this thing 7 years, we're going to take this leap of faith. We understand what that means. Kyler's going to go elsewhere in some capacity, trade, or we release him. And then we have to find the next direction at the quarterback position. And God, I hope it's a better plan than, Clayton Tune and or having to pivot to a journeyman backup quarterback because he didn't have a great plan going into the offseason. Like that can't happen. Like the quarterback plans better be being made right now.
And they haven't had good plans leading up to it. So I can understand people being concerned about that. Stillo's mom, $2. Any world new OC comes in next season and says, keep Kyler. No, they'll interview people with the messaging that Kyler will not be here. So there will not be a new OC hire with the understanding that Kyler Murray will be their quarterback. Can say that 1,000%. Kyler Murray, it will be understood that they'll be working with Jacoby Brissett in the spring and maybe a free agent quarterback. And then they will also hopefully have some influence on, if you're Brian Dable or somebody else, the next quarterback of this team. the future. We'll see where the Cardinals finish in the draft and how many QBs declare. Kyler Murray's time with the organization is ending, and everybody, I think pretty clear, everybody in the NFL knows it. So
Right.
I don't think any OC is going to come here, college or pro, and say like, yeah, I can't wait to work with Kyler. If that's the case, you better go
Where's
somewhere else.
Kyler? Where is he? Can't wait to work with him.
Where is that fun-loving QB?
I don't want to be like hammering that home. I just think that's just the reality that we're going to have to face at some point.
Kyle Lawrence doesn't think we know what we're talking about. Okay, you can bookmark this video. That's great. Appreciate the views. They are, come on, man. They are moving on.
Has anything else like leaked out about this organization before, Schefter's report and Rappaport's report on Saturday?
The Cardinals leaked dual reports to Schefter and Rapsheet at the same time, and it was all calculated. This is done. It's over. We're the one doing emergency podcast 3 weeks ago saying he's done.
Yeah.
When people are like, what's going to happen next? We're like, he's going to go on IR. Boom, he goes on injured reserve. It's like, oh, Jacoby's starting this week. No, it's going to be Kyler Murray starting this week. Nope, it's going to be Jacoby Brissett. Oh, Kyler's throwing with the ones today. My co-host is like, nope, that's not what's happening at all. I'm here at practice. They are moving on. Whether it's this regime or another regime, it's done. It's over.
We wanted it, man.
We
wanted it to work more than anybody.
You think this is why do people get so defensive that it's like they take it personal? Like this is our decision.
Right.
Like our choice. Like we have influence on the team. They are disappointed with how it's gone and they're moving on. Bo, do you think Kyler Murray ever plays for the Cardinals again?
No.
Do you think he comes off?
Donnie's back. He's having another Kyler crash out in the comments. He had one all post game show yesterday. Calling us Jacoby fangirls. He sounds like the Seattle Seahawks fan that went viral yesterday with horrible. Just there's no like Jacoby. We're not in Jacoby's corner either.
I was 100% on board that Kyler Murray is going to be the quarterback of this team moving forward. And then this season has exploded and it's plateaued. And they're like, we're going to try something different. And people are like, that's a lie. No, they're telling you with their actions what they're doing. Monty Ossenford going on local radio, playing hypotheticals and talking in riddles. Ignore that and watch them put their finger on the transaction button, injured reserve when he's flipping healthy, running around on the practice field. He has an injury clause in his contract. He can't get injured, so you can't put him on the practice field. He'll never put on the uniform again.
Yeah.
So they can trade him. So they can try to trade him.
Emily's saying, why is everybody being an asshole to you guys? You guys are just giving facts that are true.
You think I want to watch Jacoby Brissett over Kyler Murray for the rest of 2025? But this entire time we've been consistent. This is what they want to do. I would rather watch them try to do what they want so it looks more competent. I've never argued against the fact that Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray were not a fit. Our argument was move off of Drew and get somebody that's going to work with Kyler Murray, and they didn't want to do that. You see Jonathan Gannon is loyal to his staff. Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing was dead. It was over when he got hurt. Like that was never. And then you saw what Jacoby did. And it's just like, well, if they're going to go with Drew, they might as well play Jacoby. That is our thought process. And now it's like exploded to the point where like, yeah, all parties are moving on. And by the way, seems like they're moving on amicably. Seems like the only people that are pissed about it are on Twitter.
Yeah. Donnie too.
You think we think Jacoby Brissett, who's 32 years old, is gonna compete in the NFC West? I want to see like a deep passing game. I've been asking for that for flipping 3 seasons.
Right.
Let's
keep it going.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bo.
Charlie Sinclair, Chargers fan. Love having Charlie in the chat. $9.99. Cliff actually won games during the season then flamed out in his tenure with Kyler. 3 seasons of JG, the plane still hasn't left the runway. Also with Kyler.
Maybe my take of I think Gannon's a better coach than Cliff is not going to age well.
Yeah.
I think I'm disappointed with Gannon right now. Like I think Bo is too. Like I'm disappointed in how he's handled this season, and it's a very difficult situation. And maybe the wins and losses don't change, but I think the messaging right now to the fan base stinks. I think it's a really tough ask for your fan base to just kind of endure and take whatever the hell this is, and just kind of like it. Hey, like this. Yeah. Hey, what about that product yesterday? Have another spoonful of this. And people are just like, no wonder people. I'm not going to sit here and push back on people that want them gone.
Yeah. Yeah. We appreciate it. You want to come crash out about Kyler in the comments. This is your place. You can come here.
Crushes it with the Vikings or the Jets or the Saints.
Yeah. Short stack Goblin 199. Sorry, no, I'm going out of order. Not a single teammate stood up for Kyler. Says a lot. I don't think there's much to that.
They're trying to finish the season. They're trying to survive. I mean, Michael Wilson's been on our show. He loves Kyler Murray. Marv loves Kyler Murray.
No, Trey McBride loves Kyler Murray. He'd go to war for Kyler Murray. He absolutely would. But I think Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson they'll never say this, but they were in a tough spot. Like they're having a tough time getting going, and Jacoby Brissett gets in there and they're finding success down the field, making plays, giving them an opportunity to put tape out there where they're productive football players in this league. They're on their rookie contracts. They have to have good tape. They have to be productive. And they have to beat allegations of, like with Marv as a bust and Michael Wilson as, can he continue on beyond his first rookie contract?
Let's keep things going here. Keith Davis, Mike McCarthy, spend what it takes. 4 years of 13 wins looks pretty good from the sewer. Yeah. There's somebody I won't argue is a better head coach. Mike McCarthy might be a B+ coach, but I mean, Mike McCarthy's never coached in the NFC West, though. And I think that's kind of a big caveat. It's kind of like Pete Carroll going to the AFC West, where it's like Harbaugh and Sean Payton and Andy Reid, right? Like we kind of feel like that, but Mike McCarthy has more recent success. So Andy knows how to develop quarterbacks. If the Cardinals fire Jonathan Gannon, Mike McCarthy should be their number one target. I've been committed to that. And I think I think Monty Ossenford would have a good chance at trying to get him, but we'll have to see what happens.
As far as the openings are, as they stand right now, Titans, right?
Yep.
Cardinals would be ahead of the Titans. I don't think the Giants, from who we saw, the Giants kind of bandy about just in reports, doesn't seem. I don't think McCarthy would go to the Giants.
Sounds like they're going to go like the JG route, like a defensive head coach, culture setter, maybe.
Yeah. Atlanta might. Does Raheem Morris make it beyond the season?
He's getting Stefanski would Mike McCarthy go to the Browns?
The Dolphins? Would McCarthy go to the Dolphins? Maybe.
Arizona tried to hire Mike McCarthy previously, or tried to interview him. Cardinals don't have a quarterback, though. It's going to make it real tough. Mm-hmm. I don't think Gannon's getting fired, though. At least not right now. Short stack Goblin 199. Every JG presser, he comes off like a smug, you know what. He's not helping himself, like we broke down earlier. May not matter. He might think like it doesn't matter how I present myself in the media one way or the other. But I mean, like, there's a difference between like, oh man, the Cardinals stink, and I hate watching them. I hate the coach. I really dislike the coach, and that's what we're getting. Like, he doesn't want that for himself,
right?
You've been around him. He's a likable guy off air, and I think he's a likable guy when he's fired up. Mm-hmm. But like, here's what I will say. When the chips are down and adversity strikes, and how you respond and how you carry yourself says a lot about you. You have to be in a position where you're consistent with your messaging, and you have to have the pulse of the fan base and to be able to read the room and acknowledge the fact that yesterday was just a disaster. The first thing he should have said was he should have apologized to the fan base. 100%. He doesn't even bring them up.
Yeah. Keeping it going with the super chats. Mac Daddy 714 just got back from hunting. How was the weekend?
Great. I loved it.
Go back into the woods. Start over there. Oh, man. Yeah, go back into the forest. They can't hurt you. Live off the land. That's what I'm going to do.
Where's Bo? Oh, he's off grid.
Yeah.
AZ Cats. Ashton Grant sounds like he was part of a boy band. All right, I'll take him off the list.
Oh, man.
Right.
Ashton. Alphonse is back. 199. JG hired DP and Frye. He needs to go too. Come on.
Something I gotta argue. They are so far behind the rest of the NFC West. That is the most damning situation here. What was it with his buddy Eberflus last year? They stunk in the division. They were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Eberflus couldn't win on the road either, but like they could never beat anybody in the division.
Yeah. If you remove like the good conversations, the sound bites that we've liked, the highs, which are few and far between.
He's Eberflus.
And you just look at raw data, and you just look at the standings, the stats, and you blindly say, what if you're an owner, if you're a general manager, look at this coach. Do you keep him after 3 seasons, or do you move on from this coach after 3 seasons? It's a simple answer when we just look at it that way.
I could be the beginning of the end this weekend. They lose to the Niners. We'll see though. Unfortunate truth, $2, 2 wins tops. I think I texted somebody today and they said they're not winning more than 6 games. There's a better chance they win under 6 games. What's the over under right now? I think for this team is 6.5. I think. You taking the over? Or you taking the under?
Oh, boy. I'm probably, if it's 6.5, I'm gonna avoid the hook. I'm gonna take the under. I think the hook is key there.
I think you and I would be doing head coaching pods in January if that happened.
6 and 11 would be very tough.
How would they do it? How would they spin it? 6 and 11? How would they do it?
If they can somehow win these 2 games, I shouldn't say somehow. Like
you're playing Mac Jones and
they're not playing that defensive front seven, that offensive line. That's not coming through the door that you just faced. But it's physical. What have you seen teams that have come off, physical battles like that where you just get dominated?
Well, the Niners just got dominated too, though.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to give you one scenario: Robert Saleh versus Drew Petzing this Sunday. You like that matchup for the Cardinals? I do not. Lamar, $5. Keep Kyler, bring back Cliff, the only person who can unlock Murray. I don't want to go back in time.
Time is a flat circle. Oh, man. Can you imagine? We'd like to introduce the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Well, you guys know him already. It's Cliff Kingsbury. Welcome back, Cliff.
I promise it'll be different. We're all just sitting there. Easy Money Chubbs, $1.99. As Cards fans, we are all dogs in God's hot car.
Ooh. Sad. I don't like that. I don't like to envision that.
They're the closest right now to the 49ers in the division, but the Niners are having an off year and they're going to win 9 or 10 games. The LA Rams are going to be the 1 or the 2 seed and have the Atlanta Falcons first round pick, which could be a top 7 to 9 pick. And then the Seahawks look like the next great dynasty in the NFL. Although let's see about Darnold in the playoffs. I mean, those Seahawk fans clipped us talking about Darnold, put it online, but like, come on, let's see Darnold in the postseason when the games count. But what is the quickest way for the Cardinals? Like when Bruce Arians took over in 2013 and the division was a gauntlet, it wasn't this tough, but it was a gauntlet. He had them in the NFC Championship game with 3 years. He had them in the playoffs in 1 year. They won 10 games, and he closed the gap on the NFC West for 3 years. Mm-hmm. How can they do that with this staff and these people in the offseason? Can they do it? I don't have an answer for that right now.
Yeah, the odds are stacked against them as it stands right now.
You just feel like the rest of the NFC West, they're just like they look at the Cardinals and they're just like, well, we'll take care of Arizona. We'll beat Arizona with Mac Jones and Sam Darnold throwing 12 passes. Man. AZ Moses, Bo, Three Amigos giving comp bottles to cope this season? They should.
Love to see it. Love Three Amigos. I mean, they gave a comp bottle to Johnny. That's how he's coping.
Yeah, that's right. Taking baby sips.
Just take a poll after every answer at the press conference. Just Johnny just sitting there just.
I'll do an eyedropper right here.
Yeah.
Man, what a show on a Monday. We got Baldy later this week.
Yeah.
We are barreling toward Sunday's matchup against the 49ers. And we are week to week with this staff, which is fun. And this time last week it was Kyler Murray. Now it has moved back to Jonathan Gannon, Bo.
Yeah. They're going to have to come ready to play a week from yesterday, Sunday in State Farm Stadium against the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are going to have to be the team that licks its wounds after back-to-back losses instead of the Cardinals. But look, you got to get it done. And Saleh did have a very good performance in his defense against the Cardinals. They've lost a lot of players, even more players since then. They've got Kittle, they've got McCaffrey on the offensive side, but not much. They haven't gotten much healthier since we last saw them.
Hit that like button. Become a supporter right now. Click that join button if you would be so inclined. We're on the precipice of draft season, and we might have to push it off to the side and have coaching off season first.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a wild time. So be sure to subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Again, big thanks to everybody yesterday came out to Gila and helped make it a big day for this fanboy podcast, this Jacoby loving podcast, this Kyler Murray hating podcast, Bo.
We became Cardinals fanboys to Jacoby fangirls overnight, and we'll wear that proudly, I guess, going forward. Big thank you to everybody out there. Once again, thank you to the diehards. Got my son a sweet Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey that he was pumped to get his hands on today. Big thanks to the diehards out there. Become a diehard yourself. Sign up today. Get full access to the exclusive member Discord. As we talk about draft season, you get full access to Fran Duffy, our draft experts draft guide in 2026 that is already live. Don't miss out on any of that content going forward because you're going to need it as a Cardinals fan. For Johnny, for Noah, I'm Bo. Make sure you're following along at PHNX_Cardinals on your socials. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Tuesday, 4:30, PHNX Cards.
We all silly like the mayor.